A man who's been making a very, very big name for himself in the States. He's come into Europe, he's getting a very big name in Europe, and he's here on his first promotional visit to Ireland. Billy Yates, you're very welcome.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate the invitation.
Well, first thing we've got to find out, any Irish blood. With a name like Yates, you have
You know what, as a matter of fact, I do, and I'm not really sure, you know, of course my dad has always said that he was, you know, his family came from Ireland, so I believe him. And he's got a lot of the characteristics, you know, I see some of the things that, you know, he's got the little red sideburns that sometimes you kind of relate to some Irish blood maybe, I don't know.
And he's pretty relaxed guy.
He's very laid back.
Yeah, because I can see that in you, because you've been under a lot of pressure all day today, and you're certainly proven to be. Anyhow, we're absolutely delighted to have you here.
Really
so maybe you might give us a little rundown of what you've been doing for the past week.
Well, you know, I was, well, normally when I'm in Nashville, it's, you know, business as usual for me in a normal day is to go in and have a publishing company. I do that, but also have my own record label, and I work to promote and market my records all over Europe, as you sort of mentioned earlier. But I was just in Scotland. I had some shows there, and so I came over and did 3 shows, and it was great. We had a great time, and really my first time to get to see Scotland. You know, like I said, my first time to be in Ireland, and it was my first time we flew into Glasgow and then drove up to Thurso. It was great. And then now, you know, I'm here, and I had to come see my buddy Kevin King.
Everybody knows Kevin. And his brother, indeed, in London.
Yeah, great guy, great guy.
And you are hoping, I know, to come back here sort of later in the summer. Any plans for some concerts at that time?
You know, I've really, it's so funny because, I mean, I've been coming over for the last 6 years, you know, across the water, and doing shows all over Europe. I've been working in England quite a bit for the last several years, but I've never really done anything in Ireland. But that's something I really want to do, and I've kind of slowly but surely been trying to figure out how to do that. And so yeah, so I'm going to be back. I'm going to be in England in July, and then my plan is to come over early and try to work out a show or 2 or something, and just do more stuff. But now I'm just trying to do some promotional things and kind of get, you know, just get my feet wet just a little bit and see how it goes. But I feel good about it. You know, I think that, you know, everything I've ever heard about Ireland is that people here love country music, and so the people that are fans are really, really devoted to that. And so, and I think, you know, my kind of country music seems to really fit the country music fans' taste here. So hopefully it'll go well.
How many CDs have you released so far?
You know, I guess about 7. I'm working on a new one now, actually, that I'm hoping to have out, that should be out the middle of this year. So I'm in and out of the studio now working on that, but I think I've had 7. I've got some that are unreleased because I've had a number of major record labels from RCA and recorded some things for them that was never released, and then I went to Curve Records, and that album never came out, and did a record for Columbia, and that record never came out. So there's some things out there, so I lose track. I mean, like you count all those, I've done like 20, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I came across your current CD. Well, at least it's current in Ireland, but let's put it like that. We have been able to get it here. But maybe it's due to the influence of Paddy Maloney and the likes of Kevin and these people that we have been able to get it.
Yeah,
but we do have it, and we have played it occasionally, and there has been a very good response, I might say. But I noticed on that you do a duet with the one and only, the great George Jones.
The Possum. That's his nickname, you know, the Possum. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it was, I'm not sure, I think it might have been an announcer, a radio presenter in Nashville, Ralph Emery, I think, might have given him that name because he's kind of got the beady eyes, and the possum, of course, is a kind of a rodent of sorts that we have in the States. Yeah, George has been really good, you know. Now I've been knowing him now for a few years, and it all started back in '92, and with the song that I wrote for him that kind of got things started for me. But you know, we've just become good friends, and so I was doing this record, and he had a big hit with a song of mine called Choices.
Oh, Choices, yeah.
And so I asked him if he would do the duet version. I had actually recorded the song first on a record I put out in '97, and played the song for him a few times, and he never seemed to think it was right for him until one day someone at the record label played it for him. He said, yeah.
Poor old George. I mean, I remember, of course, he was married to Tammy Wynette. Did you have the pleasure of meeting her at all? No?
Oh, you know, I actually have an interesting story regarding that. I was in Nashville one day, got a call from George, and usually if he's in the studio working on a new record, he'll call and ask me to bring some songs over because he knows I'll bring the best I've got, and I try hard to get on his records because I've been a fan forever. You know, I just love him, and now he's sort of like my grandpa now, you know, and so I love him. And he called and he said, I'm working on this duet record with Tammy. And he said, why don't you come over to the studio if you've got something, some songs, you know. And so I got some things together and I went over to the studio, and they were in the actual studio recording the song. The band's out there and they're out there and they're singing. He sees me come in and he stops everything. He throws his hands like, wait a minute, guys, we gotta stop for a minute. He said, there's something we need to do. And Tammy, I need you to go with me. And so she comes walking out, excuse me, and I didn't know what to expect. And he brought her out. He said, he first, of course, greeted me. He said, Billy, you know, I've got some songs. And I said, yeah, I've got some things. He said, Tammy, you've got to meet this guy. He wrote I Don't Need Your Rocking Chair and Choices, and named a few other things I'd written for him and others. And it was so great because it was the first time I'd gotten to meet Tammy. And she just, you know, she was one of these people that when you meet her, you got her undivided attention. She took my hand and cupped it in her hands. And she was so genuinely, at least seemingly, to be so, you know, excited to meet. And
Clinton.
She's really, you know, it's really something, you know, it's really nice.
Many years ago, when their divorce was imminent, she played a concert here in Dublin, and to say the least of it, she gave him a very bad time that night. He wasn't here. And at the end of the night, she came out and she said, I've been pretty hard on poor old George, and I will be hard on him again, but one thing I have to say for him as an interpreter of a song, there's nobody to touch him. And it stuck with me all down through the years that he certainly had that ability to interpret a song.
You know, there's a lot of people, and I think a lot of fans, you know, would even want to think that, you know, it's hard to imagine them not together because, you know, you got to know and love them as a duo, you know, and it has so many great songs, you know. And a lot of people, and in fact people that are close to both of them, have told me that they thought that Tammy always loved George, and I'm sure she did.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes people can't live together and they can't get along or whatever, but they still love each other, so that could be the case, you know.
Probably is.